The Planning Commission is using the master plan that we have. Anything that we're doing and going through the old code, we're just going by the old master plan that we have. We've not updated any of it. We're just going by what we have. It's good information. It's old, but it's still good, relevant information. What's coming from the Arkansas Planning Commissions, what they're sending to us lately is that smaller places with all different types of uses surrounding them are much more vital, and that's the way that the cities are trying to go back to, instead of having commercial area, residential area, commercial area. And also the big parking lots are something that they suggest that we don't put in anymore, the big parking lots, because there's been studies show where big JCPenney's and different big department stores are going in on top of apartment buildings, and it's working out well. And so it sounded like all the things that they're saying that cities should be, we already are. But because of that, we did think that the intimate theater close to residential might be a good fit, and it was because of things like that. And our Planning Commission would like to hear from you guys what you think is priority for us, because sometimes we do get bogged down in looking at old code and doing, the tedious things. There's a lot of it, but if you have new ideas for us, we would appreciate that, and we would like to hear from you what you think we should be working on as well, because we are working for you. And the 15th or the 29th are Tuesdays, and we could accommodate that.
You talking this week or next month? What?
Tomorrow is the 15th.
Oh, not the 15th then, sorry, I missed that.
Anyway, but would the whole Planning Commission like to do a workshop with the council?
Mhm.
Okay.
Go ahead, Mr. Mitchell.
It would be nice if possibly Mr. DeVito and Ms. Blankenship could get together and come up with an outline of exactly expectations, what's going to happen, a little bit more structure than just a whole bunch of, unless we're just going to have a free-form Storm and Norman, and then maybe that's fine. Those work. Those work out pretty well. If that's what it is, then let's at least call it that. But if not, it would be nice to have a little bit more structure to it before we just get there and all sit around and look at each other.
Mr. DeVito.
I take it you're referring to the vision plan? Planning, I'm assuming, because there are some new members on council, might be a little bit more conversant with the vision plan than some of us. I did participate in drafting the vision plan, so I do have a working knowledge of what it was. But there again, we're talking about something that's pushing 20 years old.
We did good.
It would help this council to get up to speed on what the vision plan was, because planning's been dealing with it a lot more than we have. I think it will aid us in a comprehensive overview. I'd like to see this all encompassing. And I don't know, because I've not attended any of the Planning Commission meetings, but most of the focus that I see tends to be residential. We're pretty much neglecting the commercial sector in this community, and that really needs to have a lot of help, because anybody driving into Eureka Springs has got to be wondering about the economic viability of this community when you look at closed after closed after closed after closed businesses along the highway. So maybe we could develop some type of a plan, some type of an incentive. We've got to look at the city as a whole. We've got to look out 5, 10, 15 years. So, just the free exchange of ideas could spark another idea that could aid us in trying to develop some type of a comprehensive overview.
Mr. Purkeypile.
Beverly, what was the other date that you mentioned?
The 29th.
29th? And what day is that?
It's a Tuesday.
It's a Tuesday. Is that a planning commission night?
No.
It's not? Okay. I'd like to make a motion just to get started to have a workshop plan for Tuesday the 29th of October, correct? And in that, we would look at the vision plan and just get a quick rundown of, we don't have to get into the details necessarily, but a quick rundown of what it was, what it is, and then maybe planning, you and the commissioners could be there and we could see where you're headed, at the same time. We got to get started somewhere.
You got
So let's just...
time in mind?
Yeah, let's start. I don't know, do you want to do afternoon or you want to do evening? Evening? No, that's fine. Let's make it a 6 o'clock.
Everybody good at 6 o'clock? Mr. McClung?
Yeah,
I
okay.
just, when this was initially discussed, James, you wanted to include the Chamber of Commerce downtown.
That wasn't my suggestion.
Oh, it wasn't? I thought it was.
It's a conversation we had. But, no, I think this is master planning.
Let's start small and add in.
I'll get a vision plan sent to you, and then
fine.
we'll give an overview that night. But I'll get you, each one of you, one sent.
I don't have my
Mr.
copy of the vision plan anymore. I gave it to somebody and I forget who. Do you have some more of them? Okay, because mine has got to be, what, 15 years old, 10 years old, something like
Beverly
that.
said she'd send them around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did set a time,
Okay.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay.
So it was a motion, we need a
Together,
second.
Get some topics, just give me a shout
Have we got enough room here?
by lunch.
For everybody?
It's a good deal, Beverly.
No.
Take him up
Not
on
in
it.
here, I don't think you do. If you get all your planning commissioners and y'all in here too. Okay, we got a motion and a second
We
on,
don't have a second.
we don't have a second.
Second.
Okay, now we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. It's October the 29th, Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Here?
PDA.
there?
How about the courtroom?
We'll have to probably do the courtroom because you can't get all the how many commissioners you got?
7.
We can move those other chairs so
Okay.
We're not
Here
going to
it
have
is.
any
If
audience.
there's nothing,
15 people, 16
nothing
people.
conflicting that night?
I have to check that.
Okay, all right. With no conflicts in it, it'll be that night. This is on to number 7, discussion of ordinance for land bank. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open.
I don't remember why
There you go, Bruce is in here.
I did. I know, and there's,
Sent to Weaver.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
Can we-
another.
I move to table
You
this
can.
until
Yeah.
Mr. Weaver can...
Is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded to postpone. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Moves us to number 8, discussion of business license for multi-family housing.
motions discuss.
Second.
Floor is open. Mr. Schneider?
This is another one of those things. Oh, good Lord. I think what Jim brought up during public comments is very good and something we have to decide on. Is it going to be a license for each building or for each business owner type situation? Something I do want to point out with some of the multifamily housing owners, people, whatever you want to call them, safety is tantamount. That's the bottom line. We can't have them renting apartments in a rat-infested, fire-prone building. That's the whole point of this. Has nothing to do with stepping on anybody's toes or taking away their privacy. Our job as a city is the safety and well-being of the people, regardless of where they live. And if this is a situation where you are doing a business, then we most definitely have the right to make sure that it is safe for all concerned. I understand what some of the property owners have said about, well, I don't want my rentees to be interfered with, yada, yada. I'm sorry, I don't want them dead, which is what it comes down to. Safety is first. And I'm sure if the people that are renting these apartments understand that we are only doing a very fast check to make sure that their well-being is number one, they won't have a problem. If they do, maybe we need to take twice as long to look. Anyway.
You're going to be entering into like a search warrant issue.
No, I'm not talking that much. I'm
It
talking
doesn't
about
matter. You
people who
can't-
don't care. But
Unless you have permission to go in their house from
Okay.
that person.
what I have been able to
I'm
research
telling
and
you,
find out they
better
have
get
to
ready for
have
it.
fire detectors. Gosh, the brain dead today. The spray thingies in case of fire. I can't think of the word.
Fire extinguishers.
Fire extinguisher. Most of the ones that I have talked to even have the CO2 thing, So they've already done all this, and that's basically what we're looking at, is making sure if something happens, they are protected. Has nothing to do with any of this other stuff. It's our job to make sure people in the city limits are safe.
Mr. Mitchell.
As I recall what came out of planning that was written up, there was a bit of a process. What I'd like to suggest is that we, and I'll make a motion to it, is that we ask Beverly to get with Ms. Blankenship, Chair of Planning, to get with the city attorney and be sure that we receive a draft ordinance detailing business licenses for multifamily, which I think we basically had just something on a piece of paper at one time. But that way, that will give us something that we're focusing on a piece of paper, and I think it answers a lot of those questions. The one the mayor had specific to it. I remember Ed standing there talking to us quite a bit. So I'd like to make a motion that we refer the business license for multifamily housing that it was sent to us from planning back to the chair to get with the city attorney and draft a draft ordinance for our review.
Second.
Further discussion on it? All in favor, say aye. Oh, sorry, Mr. McClung.
I have a question. Okay.
I think this is being unfair to multifamily owners. Why are they being charged to have a business license for a monthly rental when an individual home doesn't have to have that? What's the difference? I'm not really quite catching the drift on that. They are, I suppose, a business of sorts. They're income generators. Some are. Some may not rent for enough to even cover the debt. I don't know. I know how it works in this town. Quite often, they don't. I'm not so sure that this is a good idea in the first place. Not in favor of it.
Ms. Eller.
Multifamily dwellings, the purpose of a business license is what? To get somebody on the tax rolls because they're going to be collecting tax? Because owners of multifamily dwellings don't collect tax. I don't pay any tax. I rent in a building with 4 units and I don't pay any tax. And is that what the purpose of this is? And what do we already have on the books? Do we have requirements for fire escapes for second and third floor buildings? I mean, do they all have to have fire extinguishers? I mean, are we overlapping laws that we already have that these buildings have to conform to fire codes and things? I'm not sure whether we're being intrusive here or micromanaging things that are already being taken care of by another city department, and that's my question.
Ms. Schneider.
Okay, a couple things. I said CO2 and I meant carbon dioxide. Yeah.
Said the same thing.
Same thing, is it? Okay, I don't know. All I know is they have them. Anyway, my thing is, okay, don't B&Bs have to have a safety inspection to get their CUP? Okay, so what's the difference? I don't care personally if we, the city, has a financial amount on a city license, a business license. What I want to see is a safety inspection. Now, whether we give them a business license after the safety inspection is done and they have passed and we give it to them for no charge, I have no problem with that. I want people safe. And that's all I'm looking for. I want them safe. But if we're going to send this back to planning and to get with the city attorney, we need to have them address, is this going to be per building or per business, as Jim asked? So that needs to be added to it.
Mr. Purkeypile.
Mayor, I'd like to direct the planning commissioner to kind of come forward and kind of explain a little bit the reasoning behind this.
Firstly, I didn't send this to you. The Planning Commission did send this to you, and they did it on a day that I was gone, so they wouldn't have to go through me. Because I have issues with it myself. Why would, if your whole thing is about safety, but this is a residential home, no one can come into my home and see if I have a fire extinguisher or a code, you know. You can't. And why would you do that for not just a house, but a duplex? Why would you only go 3 and above? This chief of police told me we cannot go into those residences because it's against the law. We have to have a search warrant to go into a residence. But what they sent to you is why Mr. Leswick came, because he wanted to explain it to you and make sure you understood it. I didn't understand it, so he came. The last meeting, y'all did send that to the city attorney to get put into ordinance form, so he will come back with something, but it has a lot of things I'm not sure about in there.
Well, and I think I agree with you after listening, and also to Mr. McClung. It appears that we're delving into private residences, whether it's multifamily dwellings or not, or single homes that people rent. And I'd be in favor of just dropping this from our purview at this point in time. I don't think it's not a tax. It's basically it's a fee, which is a tax, and that's all we get out of it. The safety issues are not. I mean, people have to be responsible for their own safety in their own homes, and they're renting and leasing these homes. So
You might leave it on your agenda and let Mr. Leswick come one more time. I don't know. I'm just saying I had a question about it. That's why I can't exactly tell you all your answers.
thank you.
Thank you, Ben. Any further on this? If not, we're going to move on.
This is going to go anywhere anyhow.
Are we going to table it to the next meeting and ask Ed to come?
Nobody's saying anything, so.
Didn't we have a motion?
I thought we
on
did.
there?
Yeah, but it's the city attorney's already drafting it.
So he's already got it, so that motion, we'd withdraw that motion then.
All right, so no
Yes.
further?
I make a motion that we table it and ask Ed Leslie to come to the next meeting and clarify.
Your second?
So, Mr. Mitchell withdrew his motion. Did you
I
withdraw
withdrew the second.
Okay. Then,
Mr. Snyder.
if you made it, okay.
And
Mr.
I'll go
Leslie.
ahead and second that. But and in a way, if it's already going to the attorney and he's bringing it back, do we really need that motion? Or,
To have Ed here, yeah.
okay. Yeah, I'll second it.
You can do whatever you want to do, but you know, it may be duplicity. Okay, we have a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
The noes were,
4-2.
I knowed.
and who was the fourth?
Everybody
no?
voted no, raise your hand.
Okay, so even, okay.
So it's a dead issue,
Easy
right?
way.
Yeah.
What about what
Correct.
the attorney has going?
Yeah, that's already on the table. That's already on the book. So it's still a valid point. It's still going.
So it'll still come up for
It'll
discussion
still
of what
come up
he's
once he
done.
gets to the point
Okay.
he can deal with it. Okay. So off. Brings us into new business.
Number 3.
Hang on a second. It is, I'm sorry, we'll move on to number 3. Number 1 and 2 have been postponed. Discussion of tour vehicle moratorium. Motion to discuss.
So move.
Second.
Floor is open. Mr. DeVito.
This moratorium expires, I can't read.
The 20th.
October 20th. I just say we remove it from our agenda and allow the moratorium to end on October 20th.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Moratorium's off. October the 20th. Okay. Number 4 is postponed. Number 5, commission, department head reports on priorities.
Motion to discuss.
Second.
Floor is open. Mr. Mitchell.
I see a lot of, in our packet here, a lot of departments have already given us an update. I really appreciate that very much. It's a new system, or well, I guess it may be new for the city or so, is identifying on an annual basis priorities by departments, and then the city actually taking on a list of priorities or management by objectives, whichever you care to refer to them as. And the fact is of getting periodic reports is very much appreciated to stay on track. And just read through them, and I thank everybody for doing it.
Any further on now? Now that moves us on to number 6, discussion of fluoride. Motion to discuss.
Second.
Floor is open. Mr. Snyder.
Okay, I had this put on the agenda because of what's been going on for nearly 2 years now in regards to Carol Boone and other areas, but right now we're talking about Carol Boone being basically forced into fluoridating our water. It's been mandated by the state. They would not even pay attention to Carol Boone's requests, questions, or anything else. It's been dragging on. Carol Boone has done everything they can to postpone, delay, put off, get changed for almost 2 years now. We, the people of these counties, have voted down fluoridation twice. We obviously don't want it. Almost every country in the world has outlawed fluoridation and are saying cease and desist. The vast majority of overseas countries have outlawed it. It is no longer being used. So what does Arkansas do? They mandate it. They force it down our throats. This is not cool. In fact, the Independent had an excellent fluoridation article in last week's paper. Very good and up to date. In view of the fact that our people that we represent have voted against fluoridation every time, I would like to see the council direct the city attorney to look into the city of Eureka Springs, suing the state against this forced mandated fluoride that everybody has voted majority vote against. And if things go as they normally do, all the other towns will follow our lead. They just don't want to be the first. But our people have said no to this. The state has said screw you and decided we're going to do it whether we want to or not. This isn't fair. It isn't right. They're asking us to put poison down our throats when all the other countries are saying we have finally realized this is not right. Carol Boone asked the state legislature to at least make it a law that anybody who was going to give us the fluoride had to say what was in it. They had to disclose all the properties. Legislature wouldn't even discuss it, much less put it to a vote. That means we're going to end up getting the worst possible kind there is because they don't have to disclose.
Mr.
This is wrong.
Carol Boone has already started on the fluoridation facility. We don't have any authority over a 2-county, 4-city water district. Matter of fact, the cities of Harrison, Green Forest, and Berryville all want fluoride in their water. We only had a poll conducted on our water bills of whether or not we wanted fluoride in the water. It was not a vote of the people. So I really, with all due respect, this is a waste of our time. There is nothing we can do as a city. There are 3 other cities involved in this 2-county district. Carol Boone has already started plans on the fluoride treatment plant. So at this point in time, it is just we have better things to do with our time. I'm sorry.
Ms. Schneider.
First of all, the people voted on a ballot on Election Day twice. It was a state thing. Voted it down twice. Had nothing to do with some poll on some water bill. Carol Boone is very hesitantly finally getting to the point where they have run out of options. If we step forward and help, I don't see it's a waste of time to try to keep poison out of our bodies or out of our children's bodies or our grandchildren. That is not a waste of time. What's a waste of time is not wanting to even take time to discuss or look into options.
Mr. Mitchell.
I'm not willing to expend any city resources in taking on the state legislature on this particular topic or taking any of our city attorney's time. It would be a very fruitless, expensive, and effort to take it on for the city. If we wanted to make a statement in a resolution or something, maybe I might be for that, but I'm certainly not for running out there and chasing windmills with my lance at all at this point.
Ms. Snyder.
Everybody said Save the Ozarks was a waste of time and finances, and look what's going on with that. Not only are we saving the Ozarks, we could also be saving our health.
Mr. Zellner.
For this to have any success, our objection, we're going to have to get the support from Green Forest, Berryville, and Harrison. And it seems to me that this is going to have to come from the Quorum Court. We're going to have to do some lobbying there to convince these people that this is not a good idea, because as long as they want it and we don't, that makes us the dirty guy denying them something that they want to happen. And that doesn't put us in a very good light public relations-wise. So if we can't get their support, it would be an exercise in futility.
Mr. Snyder.
Just one last little thing.
Please.
When this vote happened, it was turned down by a majority of people in all the counties.
Any further? Okay. Moves us on to number 7. Property tax resolution for Quorum Court.
Move to discuss.
Second.
Floor is open. Go ahead, Mr. Postponed.
Mayor, I understand from our city clerk that this is basically an ordinance that we just need to confirm or read, and it's on an emergency basis, needs to be approved tonight, correct?
Yes.
Resolution.
No, it's not a resolution. It is an ordinance,
It is
according
an
to...
ordinance.
City clerk, that's misstated
Yeah.
in the agenda.
This is yearly. This is something we have to do for to get the Quorum Court updated on what we're going to do.
So did we have a copy of that in our packet?
I haven't found it.
No.
I do not have one.
They were emailed, but I have one here.
I'd like to
Every
move
email
to
I have
have
somewhere.
an ordinance number provided for this, and read the ordinance on its first reading.
Second.
Okay. We'll need a roll call vote on that one.
Well, it is not out of order, so it could be
All right.
twice.
Let's just do one that way. We're covered on the roll call vote.
To assign a number and read. Okay, James DeVito.
Yes.
Mickey Schneider.
Yes.
Joyce Zeller.
Yes.
Terry McClung.
Yeah.
David Mitchell.
Yes.
E. Purkeypile.
Yes.
6-0. The ordinance number will be 2192. An ordinance levying a tax on all, 1 mil is 1/10 of 1 cent. An ordinance levying a tax on all real and personal property in the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, be it ordained by the City Council of Eureka Springs, Arkansas that, Section 1, levy on personal property. A tax of 4.4 mils on the dollar is hereby levied on all personal property situated within the city limits of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the following purposes. 1, general fund, .0038 mils. 2, Fireman's Relief and Pension Fund, .0006 mils. Section 2, levy on real property. A tax of 4.4 mils on the dollar is hereby levied on all real property situated within the corporate limits of the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas for the following purposes. 1, general fund, .0038 mils. 2, Fireman's Pension and Relief Fund, .0006 mils. Section 3, collections. The 4.4 mils above levied on the personal property are to be collected at the regular collection of taxes by the collector of Carroll County, Arkansas, at the same time and in the same manner that state and county taxes are collected in the year 2014. The 4.4 mils above levied on real property are to be collected at the regular collection of taxes by the collector of Carroll County, Arkansas, at the same time and in the same manner that state and county taxes are collected in the year 2014. And I do want to mention there's no change. The taxes aren't going up. It's the same as it has been.
Thank you.
Mr. DeVito?
Oh, let's see, you read it,
Yes.
and now I
Should we
make
get a
a
roll call
motion
vote?
to approve ordinance number 2192 on its first reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. First read is done. Mr.
I'd
DeVito?
like to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2192 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
Think we can do that one with a roll call?
Mickey Schneider,
Yes.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Dean Purkeypile,
Yes.
Joyce Eller,
Yes.
6-0. Ordinance 2191, an ordinance levying a tax on all real and personal property in the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Mr.
I
DeVito?
move to approve ordinance number 2192 on its second reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. Mr.
I'd
DeVito?
like to suspend the rules and place ordinance number 2192 on its third reading by title only.
For a second?
Second.
I have to do this and by roll call vote also.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
Joyce Eller,
Yes.
Mickey Schneider,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Dean Purkeypile,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
6-0. We need a motion to read the emergency clause.
But you got to read the
Second
title
reading.
next, and
Oh,
then we
thank
go
you.
to the...
This was the third reading by title
Yes.
only, which you
Yes.
need to read.
You are correct, sir. Ordinance 2191, an ordinance levying a tax on all real and personal property in the city of Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
92.
Do what?
2192.
2192.
Yeah.
Thank you
2192, yeah.
very much. I appreciate that.
Mr. DeVito?
I move to approve ordinance number 2192 on its third reading.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call, okay.
And who was the second, please?
Who's-
Thank you.
She's got it, but we have to vote on to read it.
I guess we made a roll call this one too.
Yeah, definitely.
And we emergency clause it.
Okay, so that was approval on the third reading. Joyce Eller,
Yes.
James DeVito,
Yes.
Dean Purkeypile,
Yes.
Mickey Schneider,
Yes.
Terry McClung,
Yes.
David Mitchell,
Yes.
6-0.
Mr. DeVito?
I move to read the emergency clause.
Second.
All right. I don't think we have to Don't call this one on, yeah, I guess on the emergency clause we do, yeah.
On ordinance 2192. Emergency clause, section 4, that due to the imminent need to provide this information to the Carroll County Quorum Court for the November 2013 meeting in order that the taxes can be collected properly so as to provide for the health, welfare, and safety, and for the financial well-being of the city of Eureka Springs, City Council finds it in the best interest of the citizens to declare an emergency. Therefore, this ordinance will go into full force and effect immediately upon passage.
We need
We're done.
approval?
That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Next.
All right. We skip number 8, moves to number 9, group tour franchise ordinance changes. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
You brought that one forward, Mayor.
I think. See,
It was provided in September.
I think this was an issue
Weaver?
Mr. Weaver was going to deal with since he is not here. Hang on, we'll check the minutes and see. I usually don't put stuff on there unless I got a backup.
Isn't this the ordinance where the committee said that the 65 and 35, the only thing they're going to change is only one franchise, not two?
That's right.
So the ordinance is ready submitted, I thought, to the council. They just have to delete the two franchise off of it, is my recollection.
That's what I remember.
I think y'all sent that to Mr. Weaver for the changes.
Well, let's
To Weaver.
let's move to table that until Mr. Weaver can bring it forward.
Motion made and seconded to postpone until Mr. Weaver gets back with this proposed changes. All in favor, say aye.
All right?
Aye.
Any opposed?
It's going to be a busy little one.
Brings us to number 10, Noise Ordinance Committee. Motion to discuss.
So moved.
Second.
Floor is open. Mr. Mitchell.
This is one of those topics that has a lot of emotion attached to it, but finally, after various viewpoints on this topic of noise seems to have congealed into not selectively picking on any one segment of the tourism, but more looking at noise in general. And there are a lot of ordinances in various cities out there discussing noise that is more comprehensive than the one we have on the books. The one we have on the books basically covers amplified music and jake brakes for vehicles. But a lot of cities have much more comprehensive in there, and they have like vehicles in general and things. So it would, I feel, behoove us to go ahead and assemble what Steve Beecham had mentioned earlier, a committee with a council member chairing it and providing some leadership, and probably having at least a co-chair to look at the issue of noise in general. Again, not targeting any segment of our tourism or our population, but in general trying to come up with something that is cohesive and respectful for the residents and not damaging to our main industry of tourism. And so that's my comment.
Ms. Allen?
I looked at the sound ordinance on the books. This doesn't begin to resemble the sound ordinance that I remember. However, in this ordinance, there is nothing about noise from motorized vehicles. It just simply was left out entirely. There's a section that says sound from vehicles, and it just deals with sound trucks and broadcasting noise. I don't know what happened to the other one, but it's not there. So what we need is to amend this ordinance with a section that deals specifically with noise from motorized vehicles, and that would include cars without mufflers and motorcycles without mufflers. And as far as a committee, I think we need to work on that. We need to work on amending this so that it's covered, and it should have a fine going with it. It has to be a fine-only ordinance. And we have a crisis in this town. The people have absolutely had it with noise from motorcycles. And they are under the impression that they are not being listened to. And this is somewhat like the crisis we're having in our national government, that people don't think that they're getting any response from their elected officials. And this particular problem requires enforcement once we have that. And a committee has no authority to enforce anything. The three people in this town who have the authority to do something about this ordinance are the mayor, the chief of police, and the marketing director. And rather tangentially, they're the ones that got us into this PR crisis in the first place by not doing something about it early on. So I really think that those three people should get together and come up with a plan to deal with this and solve it and have it ready to be in place by certainly the 1st of April, which means that they should be getting back to the city council within 2 weeks or 4 weeks with a suggested plan for how they're going to do this, because it has to include not only plans to enforce, but plans to publicize it and make it well known that we are doing something about it. This is not a problem that is unique to us. There aren't any other cities in the United States that put up with this noise, and so this is not news to these motorcycle riders that eventually they're going to push the envelope so far that people are going to say enough already. And if you look psychologically at the reason that people like to come here in the first place, it isn't that they come here to make noise. They come here for the bonding, for the community, for the feeling that they're getting together and visiting friends. This is what they're looking for in Eureka Springs. And they can certainly do without noise. And they can do a lot to police their own members if they think that it's going to endanger their right to come here in the first place. But I think this has to be addressed by the people that have the authority to fix it. And that's my opinion.
Mr. Mitchell.
I was going along with a little bit of what my esteemed other council person said until she seemed to go off script or whatever and drag the mayor and drag motorcycles into it again. Let's go back to the issue of noise in general, please, and quit segmenting the population of tourism and sticking noise on any one person. We're also all aware that ordinance enforcement always rests with the mayor. The mayor then delegates to the police chief and various other people the enforcement of ordinances. Specifically, somehow pulling the public relations person into a committee with the mayor and the police chief is the most bizarre thing I have ever heard of. The citizens have asked to have a committee with a council person chairing it to research the issue and bring the topic back in a cohesive manner to council to deal with it. Why not allow a council person at this table to get with a small group of citizens? We all know that the average group that works well is from 8 to 10 on the average. Pick some people, get together, and let the citizens work on it. That's the adult manner. Instead of taking out paid advertisements in the paper, this is an opportunity for the citizens in this town to learn a very appropriate and adult way of presenting something to council so that council can deal with it and listen to them in a very responsive adult manner. So let's let the committee have a chance to work, because we have several examples of citizens taking an issue forward. Whether we like it or not, no matter whatever happens with Spring Street closure, the people that came here into this room did so in a very adult, professional manner. They displayed their concerns, they researched it, they put a petition out, they put their names out there for everybody to see what they wanted, and they did it in an excellent manner. So again, no matter what the outcome, SWEPCO, grassroots effort from the citizens and the people in this town and surrounding area join together about an issue. Let's let the opportunity of having a committee have a chance.
Ms. Schneider.
Sorry, Joyce, but I thoroughly disagree with about 99% of what you said. Yes, some of the motorcycles are incredibly loud and incredibly rude. Very small percentages, like 1 or 2% throughout the season. Bikes, Blues, and Barbecues this year was slightly different, a little bit higher percentage. Most of the bikers who come here do police their own, which is an awesome thing. The week after that was Corvette weekend, and when the officers on patrol are all the way up here on Wall Street and can hear the vets down here in front of my shop, that's just a tad too loud. 2 days ago, I was talking with someone in front of my shop as one of our old antique pickup trucks coasted in to the parking spot in front of my shop. Me and the person were this far apart, we had to scream to be heard, and they were coasting. The noise ordinance must deal with motorized vehicles, period, not being discriminatory again or biased towards any one thing. We have to cover all of it. It needs to be done, basically, as David said, with the community effort. There's a lot of new stuff going on. We have several actually bike riders from other areas, including other states, who are very much up on what's being attempted by motorcycle clubs and makers and everything else, and they're willing to lend their information, whether it be by email or what have you. But if we can get a good group of people together who care, that's what we need to do. Now, I do not think it's up to the mayor and the police chief and whomever. This needs to be a community effort, a committee who can sit down, hash it out, take months. Have it ready by next season, please. But get it done properly, present it to us. And, of course, it has to be feasible things we can do. Not like I had said to one person, let's just put a cannon up on the top of Plainer Hill and aim at everybody. Okay, that's not feasible. We need to do something good. And I like the idea of a committee, and I think we need to form one. And yes, at least one council person should be part of it.
Mr. Purkeypile.
Well, I don't think this is all about vehicles. I mean, I think it can also include chipper shredders or leaf blowers or, well, I'm just saying, if we're gonna have a noise committee, we need to include everything, in it, not just vehicles. Barking dogs, yes, it's covered elsewhere, but I mean, there's a lot of noise, and noise pollution can be, believe me, I live on North Main. There's a lot of noise pollution, but that's a state highway. So, having said that, I think we need to have, there seems to be some concern, quite a bit of concern amongst folks about the issue of motorcycles in Eureka Springs. And I think it's a good idea to have somebody on this committee also that would be representative of that, and also perhaps the law enforcement community at the same time. And it's been brought to my attention that Al, what's Al's last name? Frost is a patrolman and also a rider, and that he would be amenable to being a member of that committee, and he might bring a perspective that everybody needs to hear. And I think the motorcycle community have been making steps generally to try to address this. They realize that this is an issue, but it's a burgeoning, I mean exploding population of people that are joining this as a recreational lifestyle. So I think we need to address it in a smart way. Having said that, I'd like to, if it's okay with Mr. Mitchell, I'd like to nominate him as our council representative for this noise committee.
I'd like to ask if anybody else is interested at first.
If you would so consider that.
I would consider it because I've already started preliminarily doing some behind-the-scenes stuff, and I respect Mark Hughes and Steve Beecham's views, and think that this committee could be a very good example of a very successful way for citizens to take on a topic.
Well, then I'd like to make that a motion.
I'll second
nominate
it.
Mr. Mitchell as the representative of the City Council for the Noise Ordinance Committee.
Any further
I'll
discussion?
second that.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Mitchell, you've got your hands full. Especially with the renegade mayor and the police chief and the marketing director for CAPC. You've got your hands full.
May not invite you on the committee. You better.
No, I don't want to be on the committee.
No, he's the mayor. He shouldn't be.
I'm the rogue here. I'm the rebel. So, any further on this, Ms. Snyder?
Okay. I would like to ask either the mayor or the new committee head to talk to Al Frost. We do need to have an officer in some capacity on this committee. Al would be great.
Yes.
Al Frost.
It's done.
And how do we want to put this open to the public to get volunteers on?
Let the committee chair take care of that. Thank you.
Well, you're going to need.
Okay.
You probably need to discuss how many people you're going to have on it.
Yeah.
Right? So do we continue discussing this right now then? You never
We
wanted
voted on the topic. We
Okay.
The committee
However you
chair
want
come
to-
back and give you a report.
Okay.
Okay, next meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Okay.
All right. If not, that moves us on to agenda setting. Mr. DeVito. Mr. McClung.
One thing, in what Mr. Maloney gave us from the CAPC, there is a funding request, and so this probably needs to be added to the agenda to be discussed at some point, for budgetary purposes. It's in relationship to the signs, the new directional signs that
Wayfaring signs.
that are being put up. And so I don't know if he's spoken with you directly about doing that or not, but it's the first part was paid by the Walton Foundation, and then the next 4 years it's a $20,000. If you're going to participate, it's $20,000 approximately per year to do that, and you can do it next year and not the balance if whatever. But he's wanting the city to partner with the CAPC on a 50-50 basis.
We can discuss it in the Martin department head meeting.
Okay. I mean, is that what you do? Is it not something that needs to be?
It will eventually have to come back to y'all for the funding.
Okay. Okay.
I'll find out more about it tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Any further? Is that all? Mr. Mitchell?
That was it. Yes.
Okay, thanks.
That was
Mr.
all.
Mitchell?
Nothing.
Okay. Mr. Purkeypile?
Trying to think. I don't know. I think Mr. DeVito and I briefly discussed before this meeting that we might try to discuss parking issues downtown, and maybe we should have a discussion. Let's have an item on there for discussion about parking facility downtown.
Parking facility, not just parking.
Yes, parking facility.
I'll back that.
Second.
Okay, it's on the agenda. Anything else? Mr. Purkeypile?
Oh, no, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Snyder?
Just want to make sure that the noise committee gets added to the agenda. And I'm assuming everything we tabled today is next meeting, right? Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And that's
Apparently it carries on. That's all? Ms. L?
I have nothing.
Brings us to council comments. Mr. DeVito?
I'd like to thank the CAPC for their third show in the series. They had the Cleverleys in the park. The park was absolutely packed. First was Brewer and Shipley, and then the Kate Brothers, and a very entertaining bluegrass group that covered all the modern hits. And I think everybody had a great time. That's it.
Thanks, sir. Mr. McClung?
The only thing I have is once again a request on the crosswalks on Main Street.
It is
Please.
being looked into. We bring it up every department head meeting.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You bet.
I will be persistent.
So shall I.
Thank you.
for your support.
Mr. Mitchell.
The formation of the Noise Committee will commence starting tomorrow, and we'll keep the council updated on a bi-weekly basis. And if you have any feedback that you want, it won't just be the committee sitting at a table of 8 or 10 people, however many it comes out to be, making decisions for everybody, but those people will be out soliciting input and getting feedback from citizens across the spectrum here. So if you have anything that you want to add to it or get to anybody on the committee, we'll keep you informed on who to talk to.
Mr. Purkeypile.
Yes, we didn't go over this, but I'd just like to bring up the fact that, you know, some of the things that we're talked about, that is infrastructure issues that we're trying to address. The Glen Street Sewer Rehabilitation Project is on target, according to our Public Works Director. Plans are completed. They added a little extra footage of it to achieve some extra depth. The pipe is in the yard. They also have a planned Spring Street sewer rehab, and they're evaluating a sewer main on Van Buren for possible replacement. Let's see. The other thing is that their leak detector, Public Works leak detector, is repaired and reconditioned and has helped pinpoint several leaks in our water distribution system. Some of those losses are downtown. They plan to make, Public Works plans to make repairs off-season. They realize that there's difficulty excavating and closing the areas involved. And they identified a large loss of water, potable water, on the north end of the system. So the point in bringing this up is that we are achieving some of our small goals. We're just sitting here doing nothing. But Public Works has done a good job of identifying several small issues that it can address. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Snyder.
Just as a heads up, reminding everyone, Veterans Weekend is coming up in November. We will do pretty much what we did last year when it fell on a Sunday, so we had the whole weekend for veteran stuff. We're doing the hamburger cook-off on Friday. I encourage everyone, restaurants, individuals, anyone who likes doing hamburgers, to join in. That'll be at Pine Mountain Village. I believe it's $25, and everybody gets to vote on the hamburgers. The money all goes to the Post for all the community work that they do. Saturday will be a new event, and we will be having a picking contest. Now you see the face? Anything with a string will be picked in Basin Park, and she wants me to be one of the judges. We need a couple more judges, please. I know 60s rock and classical. I don't know picking. So we need a couple judges for that, and any volunteers who want to do that. On Sunday, KJ at Caribe will be having our annual art show from noon to 5, and this is veteran-related, either done by or about veterans. And, of course, on Monday, November 11th, will be the parade. Lineup is by the library at 9 a.m. We step off at 10 a.m. We get up to the Pied Piper and Historic Museum area and do our 11-11-11 21-gun salute with lunch afterwards at the Pied Piper. So everybody keep it open. Please be there and either be part of it or be there to encourage and thank our veterans. That's it.
Ms. Eller.
Any comments?
No,
Sure.
I don't have anything.
All right. I'll just have a couple of comments, and I'll keep mine positive and not delve into the information I just heard a while ago. Our North Main bathroom construction has started. It started last Monday. They have the footings poured. It's ready to start building on. Apparently they did not get to make it today, but I assume they will be back this week once the weather lets up. The Lake Leatherwood Road project started last week also. For those that have driven it, just with the holes patched in it, it's like an I-40. Well, no, it's better than I-40 right now because that sucks.
This is where?
It's like 62, Lake Leatherwood.
Oh, okay.
Lake Leatherwood Road. Talked to Jimmy Jones this morning. He said if the weather holds out, they may start laying pavement this week. If
Can we have a party
it
down
holds
there?
out. But go out there and drive it. You just find a remarkable difference in just patching a few holes will do. I actually broke a shock on my truck when I was out there checking on it last week. So I had to get that fixed. But Jimmy also broke a spring on his truck. So that's fair game, I think, don't you? Those are the two big projects we've got running right now. One of the comments I want to make also is that I had a conversation with Chief Hyatt last week about this noise, actually about Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue weekend. As of Friday evening at 5 o'clock, not one person in the city has called the police department to find out how many verbal warnings, written warnings or written citations were issued to motorcycles during Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue and during Corvette weekend. And I find that really amazing of all the hoopla that's going on about this, that nobody even bothered to see what it was. I know we outdid Fayetteville with 2 written warnings or citations, whichever the case may be. So, get your facts first. Get your facts first. And Mr. Mitchell, I'm sure, will go out and find out exactly what went on. Have a conversation with Mr. Frost and Sergeant Frost and Chief Hyatt also. As far as events, October the 17th to the 20th, the Warrigal Fair at Warrigal Mills in, I think it's Washington County, isn't it? Is it Washington County or Madison County? It's Washington County. Anyway, it's at Warrigal Mills. October the 18th through the 19th is fall book sale at the library, the Carnegie Library. October the 18th through the 19th, Voices from the Silent City at the cemetery will kick off. October the 23rd to the 27th is Ozark Folk Festival, which will be the 66th annual Folk Festival. October the 24th through the 27th is Mini Coopers in the Ozarks. And so watch out for the little bugs, little cars. Fire Department celebrated their 131st anniversary with an open house this weekend, which was very well attended, is my understanding. They had all their equipment all shined up, brassy and ready to rock and roll. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We're out of here.
All right, good luck, David.
This weekend. Oh, wow, yes. Yes.